Hello, heroes, villains, and morally questionable weirdos. Welcome to Canon Clash. I'm your host, Sir Superhero, who is, quite frankly, terrified for this episode because this is the first episode where we are adding DC characters, both real and fake, to the lineup. So we're going to get to see how convincingly a very much Marvel fan can make up some lies about some stuff that he has not read much of. Welcome to our guests who are joining us today. Let's go ahead and start off by having you guys introduce yourself, and we'll go from top down like usual. So, Aqua.
Hello, I'm Aquazard. I'm a TikTok creator, make lots of video game content. I don't read comic books, so I actually really don't know anything.
You actually beat me to one of my questions that I was going to ask. This is something I usually ask all the contestants that show up, which is, where is your current comics knowledge at, do you feel, on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd say a 2 for me.
A 2. Okay, so not nothing. Not 0. You've got a little bit in there. So, all right, a 2. That's good. That's a good baseline. Then we'll pass it over to a regular on this Twitch channel. Not on this show, but a regular nonetheless. Mike. Sticks Bradley.
Yes, hello. You might know me. If you don't, you should, because I'm on the D&D show on this channel. It's great. I play a goblin named Sticks Bradley. Otherwise, I'm on the internet as Mike Funny Boy. That is boy with an I. I don't think it's that way on the interface, but...
Did it change? I just changed it. Did it not? I typed it in wrong and it auto-corrected, and I thought I'll fix that.
That's
annoying.
I'll
fix that right
but
now.
Understandable. But...
No, I got this. This will take me 2 seconds to fix.
Yeah, if you've seen me anywhere else, I'm usually talking about Pokemon, or sometimes usually on YouTube Pro Wrestling, or anything else, I feel like. And hopefully it's a funny one.
Okay, the name is fixed. I did fix it.
Excellent.
I just apparently had to go in and manually reset it to update. So the name is... I'm glad it was someone that I know, or else that would have been very embarrassing to get the name wrong immediately. But hey, it's fixed, and I can fix it in post so that I never actually made that sort of mistake.
I can almost guarantee
Mike,
if we didn't know each other, I wouldn't have brought it up. Like, I'd feel bad bringing that up.
It was an autocorrect that I apparently had to fix manually, and by the speed with which I did it, I think that proves my statement that it was believable. But Mike, I will ask you the same question that I did to Aqua. Rank your current comics knowledge on a scale from 1 to 10.
So, it's... I don't know if I've actually read a single superhero comic in my hands fully, but I have gone, like, down the occasional rabbit hole. So maybe, like,
okay.
If Aqua's at a 2, then I'm probably at a 3 or 4. I've learned things, but not necessarily retained a lot of them, and I feel like we're dealing on this show in corners that I just don't even know exist. So...
Well, I will say, this is very much the type of thing where I went on a random rabbit hole one time, will serve you well. That's what this show's about. We're not talking about, like, Iron Man and Thor and Batman. No. The rabbit holes are where we live today. So that is a good start, I think. And then we will throw it over to our third guest with... No hate to the other two, but probably the coolest background, myself included. Friso, hello.
Hello. I'm Friso Cosplay. Obviously by the name, I'm a cosplayer. I do talk about 3D printing and do TikTok trends, and also make cosplays and.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow up your camera so that everyone can see that as a little bit better as you're talking.
I do talk also a lot about the cosplay community and things of that nature. So for people who are beginning game to cosplay, people who want to do the social media aspect, that is kind of what I'm doing right now with all my social media. So Friso Cosplay for all that. And I know he's going to ask the question of what my comic book knowledge is on scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
So my comic book knowledge I'm going to put at a 6, which is probably detrimental to me, and I'll probably get last place because I feel like you just had those characters that you just kind of, oh, that's weird, and you move on. You just completely forget about them. So I'm going to go through this game like, that's not a real character. And all of a sudden, yeah.
Well, hey, putting your knowledge above the combined knowledge of the other two guests is a bold start. So we'll see if that serves you well, or if you'll be regretting.
The man has a
6.
custom-made suit behind him. I think he can make the claim.
I have stacks of comics, like I have to rearrange my room for this guy that I finally built a stand for him, and I have stacks of comics that I've read, but like I'm scared that like you could for this game, knowing too much is gonna screw me over in the end. So
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. We will see. And on that note, let's go ahead and get into explaining the rules if everybody is ready. So, the way that Canon Clash works is very simple. I have in front of me a list of characters. For the past 2 episodes, like I said right in the intro, it has been just Marvel characters because it was a new show and I wanted to do something that was in my comfort zone. But for this episode, I have expanded out to DC characters as well, for both the real and the fakes. So it'll be a lot more interesting for me specifically, and we will see how it goes. But I have taken this list of characters, and I have put them in a random order. No psychological tricks here about how many reals or fakes I would put in a row. I have randomized them. And we are going to go through, and I am simply going to show you the name of a character. I'm going to give you a little spiel that I've written up about each of them. And then you guys are going to tell me whether you think the character is real or fake. And your scores will be tracked on the board here. You can see those little squares in the bottom. But there is one more thing that you're going to get for each question. There are 3 possible hints in a way, extra pieces of information. The first one is I can visually describe what the character looks like. So in most cases, what costume or suit they are wearing. The second one is I can give you a little bit of publication background, that being the series where the character debuted and the year that they debuted. So if you have an idea of like the vibes of certain eras of comics history, you can maybe get some off that. Or I can give you a random fun fact about the character. These fun facts have also been chosen or written by me, so they're not entirely random. They're things that I think provide a little bit more enlightenment. But for every question, you are going to get to hear one of these. You guys collectively are going to vote as to which one of these extra pieces of information that you want. If you think you have a good idea whether the character is real or fake, maybe you try to vote for something that will be less helpful to try to screw over your opponents, something like that. And as a little bit of a catch-up mechanic, the person with the lowest score, this won't matter for the first one because they're all tied, but as things progress, whoever has the lowest score will vote first. So they have a little bit more control over what sort of hints can happen. And as a final note for the hint mechanic, if all 3 of you vote for a different option on the hints, you get none of them. So you can try to just screw over everybody and get no extra information. I believe that is the gist of the rules. Does anyone have any questions as to how exactly the mechanics of the game are going to work? Or shall we get into it?
let's get into it.
Let's get into it. All right. And I guess I should say, I said this beforehand, but when I say to answer, you are free to debate after I read my spiel and you get the hints for as long as you like. But when I say to answer, just hold up your visual indicator, which we already went over. So, let's go ahead and begin. I hope my PowerPoint is working. It wasn't earlier. With Milkman Man. Milkman Man is the product of the interdimensional reality warping corporation known as Retcon with 2 N's. He is their altered version of Superman and acts as a sort of mascot and chief agent of their larger goal, the rewriting and sanitization in a way of the DC universe, essentially resetting the world to an idealist kind of 1950s style reality. Milkman Man's role within this scheme is surprisingly literal. He delivers milk to the people of this new world. Of course, the milk is magic and all part of this weird mind control scheme, but still milk nonetheless. How are you guys feeling about our first question of the night? Milkman Man.
I need to know what year this is.
You want to go for a year? All right. Well, like I said, you guys are free to debate these as long as you want, but right now, everyone is at the same score, so there's no priority order. You guys can just discuss your hint vote as you like among yourselves.
So, kind of playing with the team here, I feel like if this is something around, because 70s was a really weird time sometimes for comics. So this is like kind of a 70s.
Okay.
I'm pretty, I don't know. What do y'all think? That's my spiel.
I see we've confused everybody with the first question, which is the exact vibe that I want on this
feel like
show.
I don't have enough frame of reference for like how low and weird and like poorly considered, because I'm trying to run through, well, like if an organization made a hero to like push their agenda, they wouldn't make him something lame like a Milkman Man, but then again, it's comics, so maybe they just fucking did that for reasons that I can't comprehend. So
And that's why the years
Milkman Man.
I feel like year might help because, like, but I don't know.
And of course, let me remind you that the hints, if the character is fake, are also just something I made up.
Yeah.
But it's extra information regardless.
Are you making these up on the spot, or?
God, no. I'm good at improv, I like to think, but I do have these pre-written.
Just making sure you're not like, oh yeah, it's the 70s.
No, I am not that bad. I do have these pre-written.
Well, I think I'm cool with that hint, but I'm like 90% sure I know what the answer is. But I think if it helps you guys, I would definitely, I'm cool with that.
All right.
You guys collectively have chosen the series and the year. Interesting that the theory was like, oh, maybe this is going to be something from the 70s because Milkman Man debuted in a Justice League of America and Doom Patrol crossover in 2018.
Wow.
Oh, that makes it so
I think I
fucking
know.
plausible.
In 2018.
Okay.
You guys ready to vote, or do you want more time to debate on Milkman?
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, cool. If everybody's ready, 3, 2, 1, answer. Everybody starts off with real. Yes, for those in chat, Friso is using lightsabers as his answer
I should have
indicators.
written these backwards. Goddamn.
No, it showed up.
Okay.
It showed up. But I'm happy to say that you guys are all starting off on a good foot because Milkman Man is absolutely real. Milkman
Patrol.
Man, it is one of just the weirdest things to come out of Doom Patrol books in a while, and I also have as a little extra after question fun fact on my notes here. If you can, you know what? Actually, I'm going to change this from a note to a bonus question because I think this is funnier. If you can tell me the writer or creator of Milkman Man right now, I'll give you a bonus point, and I'll enter your scores as that happens. You all get one vote if you want to tell me who made Milkman Man. It is a person that is, like, known. It's not some obscure random writer.
I suck at writers. I always forget all their names. I'm like, oh, you know that one guy with that really cool, like graphics? Yeah, no, I can't do writers.
All right, you can take a stab at it if you want. Like I said, this was originally just going to be a fun fact, and I decided just now to make it a bonus question, so... Anyone have a guess or no?
I do not.
I don't really know any names.
Well, the fun part about this is that it's not a comics writer at all, at least not someone who is known for comics. It is Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance.
Oh.
God damn it, Gerard.
Yeah, Gerard Way does comics,
Oh, I know.
and Milkman Man, and this whole event was one of his.
All right. I don't know about the comic, but at least the TV show Umbrella Academy slaps, so he could get that.
Yeah.
But Milkman Man.
Yeah. Milkman Man. All right, everybody ready for the next question?
Mm.
This is going to be one hell of a name reveal, I think, because the next character is Hairbag. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat had a not great reaction to that name, which is the exact reaction I was hoping for, as Hairbag did mostly get on this list because of that god-awful name. Powers-wise, Hairbag is a mutant who is essentially just a werewolf. He has werewolf powers, with the added gross ability to individually control the hair follicles that are all over his body. This power, while disgusting, is somewhat fitting for a werewolf, I guess, but he also has another gross power that's less thematic, poison breath, for some reason. Hairbag, thankfully, was never very successful as a villain and did end up just getting used as bait and killed off by a better villain, so his villainous career was short. What are we thinking about Hairbag? Again, you can debate as long as you want, but you are still all tied for points, so there is no voting priority right now.
What are our clues that we can choose?
The clues are a visual description of the character, their suit or costume or whatever it is, or lack thereof in some cases, I guess. Their original series that they debuted in and the year of that series. I guess I should also say, I didn't say this one, if the name of the series is weird, like something that's not immediately clear, I will tell you the character that sort of was part of the series. So basically the character they debuted with and the year. Or a random fun fact, basically a little extra line of the description that is just going to be more information on the character.
We went from is a werewolf to poison breath, so I feel like the extra line isn't going to clarify necessarily.
we know what he looks like. I have a good feeling of what he looks like, so I don't think we need to know his suit and stuff.
But I don't know if year
in some cases the hints are more obvious.
I don't know if
others.
year in series would necessarily help that much though, because I feel like I hear about a weirdly high amount of X-Men characters, mutants that are like their power set was weird and off-putting, and they existed as fodder. The end. So.
Yeah. But what if he's DC?
But are any of them named Hairbag?
What if he's DC? Like, do we know if he's DC or Marvel?
To be fair, I did say mutant in the description. Oh. That is all I said. I never said necessarily like X gene mutant. I just said mutant.
Okay.
So that could go either way.
Then I guess. Go ahead.
I guess series and year for me. That's my vote.
Series and year?
Sure.
I can go with series and year. Yeah.
All right, series and year it is. Hairbag is an X-Men type mutant. He debuted in X Factor in 1991. So does this sound like a 90s character to you guys, or something else? You guys ready to vote, or you want more time to debate?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Everybody ready?
As ready as I can.
In that case, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the vibe with this game. Everybody is ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Aqua and Friso both say fake. Mike says real, and Mike is correct.
Wow.
Hairbag exists and looks as awful as you would expect him to. He's just a very spiky, pointy, hairy man. X-Men in the 90s, man.
What honestly put it over was like Hairbag sounds like an insult that would have sounded antiquated but plausible in the 90s, you know? Because like Hairbag is...
Mike, that's good logic, actually. Yeah.
Because like I've heard Hairbag like, oh yeah, hippie, you Hairbag, like in movies that have come out in the 80s, and then you get to 91 and then... Mike is bringing the analytial thinking. I
to
can't
this
promise
game.
that I'm gonna be so like coaching throughout this. I feel like we're gonna get weird, but
The hair growing power. I was thinking like Medusa, and like there should be another hair growing power.
Yep, there is at its worst.
Oh my god.
I saw this name like recently. I was like, oh, that has to go in the show. I have to put him in the show off the name alone. He's just so bad. Everyone ready to move on to question 3? All right, the third character on the list is Sun Puncher. One of the strangest villains ever to be encountered in space. Sun Puncher is a former pro wrestling star who got bored with the normalcy of Earth life and set out to make a wider impact in the stars above. He got a role as an intergalactic fighting circuit fighter, advertising himself as being from the same planet as the Avengers, and ended up crossing paths with Star-Lord. The two first fought as Sun Puncher's wrestler identity was a bad guy, and Peter didn't realize it was an act, but once the misunderstanding was cleared up, they bonded over Earth memories and became very good friends. Now, we do have hint priority now. Aqua and Friso, essentially, you two can team up and just pick the hint by yourselves if you wanna cut Mike out of the equation here now that he's ahead. How you feeling about Sun Puncher?
How are you feeling about Sun Puncher?
It's a good name. I like the name. I heard laughs when I said the name. So, someone did good, be that Marvel or me.
I'm a Star-Lord cosplayer. I should have some idea, but I have zero idea on this.
Haha.
Okay. I think... there's a big emphasis on his outfit, so if we know a little bit more about his outfit, I think that will help. And also change things up a bit from asking the year and series every time.
All right.
What do you think?
Aqua, do you want to agree with that and lock it down, or pick something else and have Mike be the deciding factor?
Well, he is a 6 on the comic scale, so I'm just gonna go what he says.
Okay, all right. In that case, you guys have chosen costume. Let me read my little description here. I have written down a very stereotypical, sort of trope-filled spandex supersuit featuring an insignia that looks like a fist with sun rays coming off of it, and also, notably, just really good hair. Really nice, luxurious hair coming out of that spandex costume. Is that changing your minds on anything with Sun Puncher?
No.
All right, you guys ready to vote?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Aqua says fake. Mike and Friso say real. So we're definitely getting splits. The score is going to be shaken up on this one. And Aqua, you are correct.
Oh.
I made Sun Puncher up.
Because that name sounds...
I love the name. It was so funny.
I feel like I've heard that name, like the name Sun Puncher named mentioned in passing specifically in a Guardians movie, like just some throwaway. This sounds dumb, but it's actually a thing from comics. But
I was thinking, like, I haven't seen every single Guardian of the Galaxy movie, but I've seen the first two, and I was like, I feel like if he was a character at some point, they would have made a joke or something about this character, because that's what Marvel movies do.
That's a good point.
They make fun of
that is a good
their
point.
terrible characters. I feel like he would have been mentioned at some point.
It does seem like something that James Gunn, I think, would want to reference if it was something
Sun
that was real.
Puncher.
Star-Lord and Sun Puncher.
oh yeah.
All right. Everyone ready for the next question? One of the weirder names on this list, I'll go ahead and say right up front before we get to the next question. So is everyone ready? The next one on the show is Little Benny. When talking about superheroes that don't particularly enjoy their powers, Ben Grimm of the Fantastic Four often comes to mind. The team has made many attempts to restore the Thing to his previous form with varying levels of success, but one in particular stands out as odd. After being struck by Mr. Fantastic with a specific type of radiation, the rocks covering the Thing's body did fall off, revealing his human form, and proceed to stick together, forming what was basically a smaller version of the Thing, which Human Torch immediately dubbed Little Benny. This guy, however, proved to be very animalistic and violent, lacking Ben Grimm's noble character. Ignore me, I'm just stupid. Lacking Ben Grimm's character, and the two eventually remerged for the safety of the people. Not Ben 10, Little Benny. How you guys feeling about this guy?
I mean, how are we supposed to feel about Little Benny?
Once again, the name is there.
Little Benny.
I mean, we don't need appearance. I feel like that's self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to know the year and, like, which series.
You want to go for the year again? Actually, I will say you, Friso, now have the least voting power in this. Aqua and Mike, you guys get to determine this first.
I'm cool with that.
I can take it. I feel like Fun Fact would also be helpful to get a feel for, like, what he even would have done, but I feel like even then the plot was laid out in the synopsis of he gets up to mischief, so maybe he just gets up to mischief. So yeah, I'll lock in for year and publication.
All right. So Friso gets what he wants for the hint anyway. This was in Fantastic Four, mainline Fantastic Four series in 1973. How you guys feeling about Little Benny? Everybody ready to vote?
Yeah. I guess.
That was such a confident yeah. Such a confident yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, Aqua and Mike both say Little Betty is fake. Friso says Little Betty is real. So we're in an interesting position here because if Friso is correct, then it's all tied up. If not, then Friso has got a little bit of catching up to do. And Friso has a little bit of catching up to do. Little Benny is not real. I will say that the Fantastic Four trying all sorts of weird crap to get the Thing back to normal, that is 100% a thing that happens. I was like, this seems like a believable enough one of those
Little
things.
Benny.
Little, I will say another thing. I'll pull back the curtain on my my process a little bit. I came up with the concept first and could not for the life of me think of a name. And I was just like, I'm just gonna say Human Torch called him that. I was like, it sounds believable that Johnny was just like, that's Little Betty. That sounded believable enough in my mind. I just slapped him at the end.
Like, I told you guys, like, I may have too much knowledge in this, and he's just gonna fool me because, you know, he's the PhD in comics.
It sounds extremely plausible as like a goofy light 70s one-off story. So like I genuinely had no fucking idea. That was pure guess.
And hey, you guessed, Mike, you have been doing great so far. So your guessing is good. Aqua, you too. Friso, I believe in you.
The past 2 days, the guess has been good.
When you said like Ben 10, I was like, okay, this is definitely fake.
In my defense, I read these write-ups off, and it says Ben Grimm, and I'm just a dumbass and misspoke because I've been watching Ben 10 lately, and I just said Ben 10. So that was not a hint. That was literally just me misreading my own notes. So on that note, let's quickly go to the next character, and pretend that did not happen. Let's see. There we go. I gotta find him on my notes doc. Everybody ready?
Ready.
All right. The next character in Canon Clash is Matter Eater Lad. The name really says a lot on this one. Take a guess at his power and you will be right. Matter Eater Lad can eat anything safely without it harming his digestive system in any way. And it's worth noting that his jaw doesn't unhinge or anything like that. He can just kind of eat stuff. If he eats enough, his metabolism speeds up his entire body, which gives him super speed. I guess that's kind of cool. But he has no powers beyond these two things. However, there is one other notable fact about Matter Eater Lad, which is beyond just his superhero work. On his home planet, he's an alien, he has a very successful political career. He's a senator and is notably beloved by the people. What are we thinking about successful senator Matter Eater Lad?
There are...
The hint priority has not... actually, wait. I think I got this mixed up in the last one.
Yeah.
I changed the rules from the first episode and forgot to change my doc, and I mixed it up. So, Friso, it worked out fine last time. Hopefully I would have caught it if it didn't. But you actually do get to do the hint priority first on this. Should have had it last time too, but it worked out. So, Friso, which hint are you feeling like doing? And then you could get overridden, but...
I feel like it's failing me every time I keep asking it, but you're in series.
You're in series, okay. Aqua and Mike, do you want to override that? Or I guess if either one of you wants to go with that, then you can pick that. But if you two want to team up and pick something else, that is an option available to you.
My thing is there's so many like eating superheroes that on the one hand, like eating powers, that on the one hand series feels like it would help because it would give specificity, but on the other hand it's so common that I don't know that it would narrow it down any. So maybe appearance, because like if he has a good political career, then like what does he look like?
You want to go for appearance? All right. So then in that case, Aqua, it's down to you. You can either screw everybody over, say no hints, or you can pick between those two.
I think I'd also like to know what he looks like.
You want to go for appearance. Okay, so despite being an alien, Matter Eater Lad just looks like a guy, which makes the imagery of him just shoving stuff in his mouth all the weirder. And his costume is a very basic green, black, and yellow spandex suit. Everyone looks confused, which is my favorite thing on this show. That's what I strive for.
Matter Eater Lad.
Okay.
You guys ready to vote?
Matter Eater Lad?
Matter Eater Lad. If everybody's ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Friso says real. Aqua and Mike both say fake. Friso, you're catching up. Matter Eater Lad is a real thing. No, okay. I didn't go to the picture yet because I just want everybody, like, I want to prep everybody. When I said he just looks like a guy, and so the imagery of him eating stuff is weird, this is what I was talking about. He's just a guy who eats stuff. Why this man exists, is kind of a mystery to me. I think
amazing.
All right.
It looks like he's. Oh, that's such a good fucking fence.
he's eating that chain link fence. He's entirely real. I also do want to say the fun fact on this one because I think it really plays well with the fact that he's also like a successful senator. Heroes trying to like seduce and hook up with their main villains is a big trope that happens all the time. Matter Eater Lad is one of the few that actually pulled it off. He marries one of his primary villains. This guy, of all characters, the man who eats fences, actually married one of his villains.
Got game.
You know,
I don't know, man. Comics are weird. That's why this show exists. I'm gonna say that a million times. But he's also one of the DC characters. This is one of the first DC, not the first, but one of the first DC characters on the show. I'm so glad that that Matter Eater Lad could join the party. Let me scroll to the next character on the list. Here we go. Is everybody ready for the next question? All right. The next character then is Interlock. The Green Lanterns have many weird members among their ranks, as lantern rings can bond with pretty much anything that's sentient. This includes things as big as a planet, that's not the question by the way, the planet with a Green Lantern ring, that is entirely real, and as small as another lantern ring. The being now known as Interlock is a Green Lantern ring that somehow developed sentience and then proved itself worthy of a lantern ring, which then just sort of linked into the first one, becoming essentially one of those interlocking ring magic tricks, but imbued with cosmic power. How are you guys feeling about Interlock?
Sounds
who's just two rings.
kind of cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I need to know like an interesting fact. Yeah, that's gonna be my vote.
All right, so you're going for fact. Once again, the point totals the totals have changed, but the order has not changed. So Aqua and Mike, you can confer on this.
Well, what did you want to go for?
Oh, I'm gonna do interesting fact.
Interlock.
I need my ring for this. Come on.
Well, we know what it looks like, so.
Yeah.
And we know what it's probably a part of some Green Lantern comic.
Yeah.
So
I'd also go with
the
that. History is not that surprising on this one. I'll just go ahead and give you that one for free. Not the gear for free, but you can guess the series. So you want to go for fact?
Yeah.
All right. Admittedly, on this one, the fact and the appearance are kind of similar, but I think it works in this case because Interlock is not, as you would expect, two Green Lantern rings. He's a green ring and a red ring. Willpower and then anger bonded to that. If that changes any thinking.
Sounds like a very intense existence.
Very intense existence. Everyone ready to vote on Interlock?
All right.
Take your time. Don't if I ask, feel free to say no if you want more time to debate amongst yourselves. That is an option available to you.
The prospect of debating feels weird because then you give your thought process. But
true enough.
I'm way behind, so I'm just mouth not moving.
You guys ready to vote then?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Reveal. Okay, so we have some synchronization here. Aqua and Mike both say real. Friso says fake. Now, this is a high-stakes question because, Friso, if you're correct, then you tie it up. But if you're wrong, then you just go back to the status of where you were last question. And Friso, that 6 is coming in handy because you have tied it up. Interlock is not real.
Damn, but that sounds so cool, though. I wanted to see what it looked like.
It's 2 rings, Mike.
Yeah, but maybe it made like a hologram body. It's a Green Lantern.
Mike, here, I'll give you right now. That's one's green, one's red. That's what I had in my mind for this character.
Okay, but
I was
people have
kind
had,
of
like,
thrown off
multiple...
when you said red.
Okay.
The red when you said green and red, I was like that threw me off. If you had said like pink and blue or green and not green and yellow, but like something like that, or even orange. No, orange is one. But yeah, like I think pink and blue would have been the good one for that one. But
yeah, I wanted. Sometimes I put little things into the hints. It's like that doesn't sound right. I was like, the green and the red being not opposites, because you're right, that's yellow, but you picked up on my hint. Good job. And now the score is tied at 3, 3, and 3.
Really good about my
which is actually perfect for this next one, but I'm not going to entirely reveal that yet because this is a slightly different question, just in that I'm going to reveal the name at the end for maximum shock value here. So I'll go ahead and start with the description then. This villainous team, not one character, this is a team, consisted of one man named Torpedo Man, controlling 2 robots by the names of Claw and Magneto, no relation to the Magneto that you probably know. Their goal was to destroy a device called the Gyromoleculizer, an artifact that was somehow trapping an alien prisoner on Earth. All this is pretty standard comic stuff, if a bit cheesier than average, but what got the group on the game is, unsurprisingly, their absolutely wonderful team name, that being the Awesome Threesome. And the fact that we have 333 as the score is very fitting. So how are you guys feeling about the Awesome Threesome?
I feel like I gotta know the series hypothetically responsible for this.
You gotta know the series hypothetically responsible for the Awesome Threesome, alright?
That's very bad.
Everything is tied up again, so there's no hint priority.
I'm just trying to not make jokes right now.
You can't, I wouldn't have put it on the list if jokes weren't allowed. Go ahead.
Well, the three of us do have to decide. I need to know the series so I can just, if it's true, I can pull it up.
Series, I think I'm gonna catch everyone off guard with this one because this was in Aquaman in 1967.
Fuck. Whenever you say 90s, I'm like, well, it could have happened. The 90s, I'm told, were a dark fucking time.
No, it's Aquaman in the 60s.
Oh, the 60s.
67. 1967.
Well, that's plausible for an entirely different reason.
Turn that up. Yeah, the 90s and the 60s both had the same vibe of, like, it really could be whatever, but... How are you guys feeling about the Awesome Threesome? Villains from Aquaman in 1967.
Not good.
Not good. Yeah, I mean, if you felt good about it, I'd be a little worried. Is everyone ready to vote, though?
Okay.
Sure.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I want this to be so real.
Okay. So the synchronization has ended, at least for now. Aqua and Friso both say real. Mike says fake. Once again, this is going to be one that I show the picture of in a second, but the Awesome Threesome is real.
I
think one of those cases of slang terms kind of changing meanings over time. In the 60s, I don't know, maybe it meant the same thing, but I don't think they thought it through very much at the very least. Now, for the picture, I was going to pull an image from the comics like I usually do, but as I was grabbing the picture for this one, I realized they seem to have They seem to have appeared in at least one episode of an Aquaman cartoon, and their design in that Aquaman cartoon is really just real good. Real good characters. Masterclass in character design from the Awesome Threesome.
Beautiful.
It's a cartoon with the same name.
Huh?
Wait, was their name the Awesome Threesome in the cartoon?
I would heavily assume. To be fair, I did just look it up, and I think so, yes. I would have to fact check that. But, yeah. This is... I'm doing so many bad things in this show.
I'm living for the blue one's pose. The sass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what would you expect? I just like how this is a thing in all these old cartoons, but they're like superimposed on the background. It's pretty great.
Which one is Torpedo Man?
Well, great's not the right word.
Which one is Torpedo Man?
In order from left to right, it is Claw, Magneto, Torpedo Man. So Torpedo Man is the sassy one and the only human on the list. All right, so the scores have changed. Mike, for this next question, you are going to get hint priority. And the next question is a very simple name, actually. Niels. Like a huge amount of superheroes, Niels was given powers in a laboratory accident. Specifically, he was struck by energy spheres from another dimension, which imbued him with very odd kinetic powers. Niels can generate a field that reflects kinetic energy, meaning two things. Number one, he can reflect all sorts of attacks, and more importantly, he can essentially become a living bouncy ball, ricocheting all around the battlefield with varying levels of control, usually pretty low. This already ridiculous power is made much funnier by one very important fact about Niels. Niels is a cat.
Oh.
Oh, I want this to be real.
Oh.
I want this to be real so bad.
How do we feel about Niels the bouncy cat?
I would be perfectly fine with being overruled, but I think I would like a fact about Niels the bouncy cat.
A fun fact about Niels the bouncy cat.
Same.
Same? Okay, cool. An alternate version of Niels is a regular member of a superhero team known as the Pet Avengers, where he goes by the superhero name Hairball. I love Mike's reactions to all these. I put Mike through an existential crisis with every single question.
It's just perturbing, because like...
A lot of people in chat, not that you guys are allowed to look at that, are saying, like, I was calling fake until he said cat, and now I'm not sure.
I want it to be real. Like, a cat is like, that's my new hero.
I previously, and I'm okay revealing this, I feel I was going partially with a line of logic of, like, what would sound like Matt had a lot of fun creating, but that has led me astray, I feel like, with some of the fakes, so I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah. Mike, out of these guests here, you know me the most because you're in my D&D campaign, so I have to be careful with the fakes. Like, you know my writing style. So, everybody ready to vote?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, vote.
Please be real.
Everybody says real. Everyone just really wants to see this bouncy cat boy, and I have some great news for you all. Niels is 100% real. If you have heard of, and I bet Friso might be the only one who has, the character Speedball. If you have heard of a semi-obscure superhero by the name of Speedball, this is Speedball's sidekick, essentially, is a cat with the same powers as him. And he's just a bouncy guy. He's just a cat that bounces around. I don't really have that much more to say about Niels. He's just a bouncy cat, and I love him.
Orange cat, which people who don't know, orange cats are the best, so...
I do have an orange cat, so I would confirm, but I also have a black and white cat, so I can't be biased into my cats like that, but... All right.
Cat.
Let me boost everybody's score up. Good job on correctly guessing Niels the Bouncing Cat. Not that the Bouncing Cat, I should say, is my sort of editorial. That is not an official title for this character. But it just sounds so good. It just sounds so good that I had to put it in there. All right. Next question then, if everybody's ready, is Cattle Driver. Perhaps one of the most Scooby-Doo-esque villains out there, the sorcerer known only as Cattle Driver doesn't pose much of a threat on his own. What does pose a threat, however, is the stampeding herd of ghost cows that he can summon using his magically enchanted lasso. He was eventually defeated when his creepy cattle were driven into a ravine by the Flash, and Cattle Driver, not wanting to let go of his magic lasso, was just kind of carried along with him and was not seen again. How are we feeling about the ghost cow summoning Cattle Driver?
The ghost thing shouldn't have fit, but it was confusing what a wizard had to do with cows, so weirdly it does work. I feel like the last fun fact was really useful, so I'll go for fun fact again.
You want to go for fun fact again?
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to change that, or you want to roll with fun fact?
I'm cool with it. Oh, sorry.
Huh?
No, you're cool with it. You're cool with it. I personally want to change it, but if you're cool with it,
what would you like to say though?
What did?
Yeah, make your argument.
What?
Yeah, make your argument for yourself.
I feel like early 90s, there was a big kind of, late 80s, early 90s, there was a big, like, cowboy push, if I remember right.
Okay.
Which I'm trying to doubt myself. So that's the only way I'm thinking, like, maybe. But then even if he says it's early or late 80s, early 90s, I'm still going to doubt myself. So fun fact is fine with me. So I'm going to let you choose. I'm going to go with whatever you choose.
All right.
Way up there.
It goes down to Aqua then. Which do you want? Do you want some sort of fun fact about this character? Or do you want the series and year?
Well, I'm assuming series is Flash, some sort of Flash comic.
Could be Justice League,
true.
but Flash was mentioned in the description, so
I'll go with fun fact, even though it's
you're gonna go with fun fact.
Pretty fun idea of character, kind of. It's weird.
Weird is the bar. Weird is the bar on this show. So you know what? That's a fair thing. There is one more power of Cattle Driver that I did not describe in the description originally, which is that he actually did have one thing that he could do on his own, which is he could summon, like, ghost bull horns that would extend out of a cowboy hat. A power that he only used, like, once and never showed up again. But he technically could maybe give himself, like, cow powers as well. If that helps at all.
No, it doesn't.
All right, everybody ready to vote on Cattle Driver?
Okay.
Sure.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Aqua and Mike both say fake. Frieza says real. Cattle Driver is fake. I said Scooby-Doo in the description, straight up based off a Scooby-Doo episode.
Nice.
I was running to finish these, and I was like, there was a Scooby-Doo episode about ghost cows, right? I'm just gonna make that a supervillain.
I've seen,
so then
like...
this actually is a... No, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, this is a score thing, so go ahead before we move on to the next question.
I was gonna say, I've seen some Flash shorts on YouTube, and he's, like, really nice to his villain. So when you said he, like, let this guy fall off a cliff and he was never seen again, I was like, I don't know if Flash would allow him to do that.
A good point. You guys are thinking logically. I love to see it.
I've seen Ghost Cow, and now I probably have a good idea where I saw it.
Probably Scooby-Doo.
My point of logic was honestly cowboy hat tipped me off, because I was like, well, if he's a wizard, you can't give him a cowboy hat because that's way too fucking confusing. There's already an established hat policy for wizards, so either you give him a wizard hat or no hat at all.
Cowboy wizard.
And that was the thing that determined it for you, Mike?
Yes.
All right, cool. The new episode title for this one is going to be Established Hat Policy, I think. I think that has to be the show title for episode 3 of Canon Clash. On that note, are you guys ready to go on to the next question? So, since this was the first episode where we brought DC into the mix, I had to get some Amalgam Comics in here. If you don't know, Amalgam Comics was a brief joint work from Marvel and DC where characters from both worlds combined, leading to characters like Dark Claw, who is a fusion of Batman and Wolverine, and Super Soldier, who is a fusion of Captain America and Superman. However, aside from these much more popular ones, there were also less popular ones, including Bug Boy, a combination of Ant-Man and Beast Boy who can turn into large or small versions of any insects. So this is going to be an interesting one because it is just straight up a Marvel and DC combo. But regardless of whether this is real or fake, Amalgam was a real thing that happened. So how are you guys going to react to that little trick? Mike and Friso, you two now have the hint power amongst yourselves. So you can team up or you can split and leave it to Aqua.
I don't think year in series is going to help.
My struggle is like knee-jerk. I'm like, well, that sounds inherently stupid, but that doesn't fucking clarify anything in this game.
Does not rule a thing out, does it?
And then what he looks like is kind of easy to make up. You can just, go Beast Boy, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So I think that's too easy. I think we should go with fun fact.
I'd go with fun fact, yeah.
All right. I will say the fun fact on this one is not terribly interesting, whether that's because I made up something and couldn't think of one, or because Bug Boy just kind of appeared on 1 or 2 pages and was not relevant. I just have, rather than using Pym particles, Bug Boy used something called macromolecules, which sounds like an off-brand Pym particle, because that's exactly what it was.
I'm ready.
Everyone ready? All right, Mike's ready.
Yeah.
What about you two?
Very ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go! All right, Friso and Aqua say real. Mike says fake. Bug Boy is very fake. Bug Boy was the last one that I came up with, and I was like, I need something. I'm gonna do amalgam, and I just slapped together Beast Boy and Ant-Man.
Because why would you
made it work.
Why would you take Beast Boy, you could turn into any animals, and constrain him to bugs? That would be so fucking stupid.
Mike, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. It's.
But also they
but
would
hey,
though, so like it's fair. But like, come on.
It was,
I did not think
hey,
of that
I got
at all.
2 of you with this one. I got 2 of you with this one. The scores have been very tight this whole episode. We are at 6-6-5, so it is still anybody's game. But on that note, are we ready to go on to the next question? All right. The next one is, oh, there we go, Cobalt Man. So we all know Iron Man, and some of us may even have heard of some of his similar villains, such as Titanium Man, but this Metal plus Man naming convention has some weirder characters in the roster, such as Cobalt Man. His story starts off pretty normal. He was a scientist who, much like Tony Stark, built a weaponized suit that he intended to sell to the military, but in a very poorly timed twist, Cobalt Man suffered a serious concussion in a pole vaulting competition around the time that his suit was finished. This head injury made it so that he couldn't think straight and led to him becoming obsessed with defeating Iron Man, despite not really having any relation with Tony in the past. Cobalt Man. Wasn't that bad? Got a concussion in a pole vaulting contest and then wanted to kill Iron Man. How are we feeling about Cobalt Man? Friso, you do have first choice of hints. What are you guys thinking about Cobalt Man?
Well, he's going to be probably blue, I think. Year in series? Yeah, year in series.
Year in series? All right. You two can override or confirm or screw over everybody.
I'd like to hear your thoughts, Aqua, because
I don't have any. I really don't.
No thoughts, NFD.
I'll say I like year in series because this feels like a very specific flavor of cheese, so it might be good to get some confirmation in that regard.
In that case, year in series is going to be it. X-Men. X-Men 1967. Bet you were thinking it was going to be Iron Man. No, it's X-Men. I was going to throw everybody off, because did I put that in as a fake to suggest that the character is not real? Or is it so out there that it somehow confirms that this is a real one because it's so unbelievable? X-Men, 1967.
This game's not fun anymore.
It was an easier time discussing, like, fucking the way the universe works than is a fucking Cobalt Man or Real Things comic books did.
You guys are doing really good, though. You guys are doing really well. On that note, though, are you guys ready to vote? We got a bunch more to get through.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1, vote. Real. Was it the X-Men thing?
It was the X-Men.
Was it the X-Men thing? Because yeah, this is real. I put Cobalt Man in the list, and like I do the write-ups before I go back and get the details, and I did the whole write-up, and I went and looked back, and I was like, X-Men, X-Men, and I maybe could have changed it off that logic, but I was like, no, that's so funny. I have to leave it. I don't know why he debuted at X-Men, but.
Question, did you ever talk about Cobalt Man on your TikTok? Because I could have sworn I heard a creator, like, talk about...
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've done it for so long, I don't remember my whole my whole list, but I don't believe I've done a Cobalt Man TikTok.
It felt oddly familiar.
Well, everyone got it right, so good for you guys. Moving on to the next one. Let me scroll. There we go. The next character in Canon Clash, Episode 3, is Ratman. By day, Daniel Brower is a mild-mannered advisor at Empire State University, the same college that Squirrel Girl attends. Yeah, if you thought this was going to be a DC Batman parody, no. Squirrel Girl, this one's Marvel. By night, though, he takes on a new identity, the Scourge of the Sewers, Ratman. Ratman, much like Squirrel Girl, has all the powers of a rat and the ability to speak with rats, which you might think would be a useful ability in New York City. But let me be super clear when I say that Ratman has the ability to speak with rats, not control rats, which is a very subtle but very important difference that really limits his combat effectiveness. What are you guys thinking about? Squirrel Girl, ally or possibly enemy, I never really clarified, Ratman.
I feel like this is directly influenced, either Marvel's influenced by DC or you're influenced by DC.
Someone took influence from DC on this one. Once again, the hint priority has not changed, so Friso, you get first call.
Y'all want to discuss this, or just you blurt one of the three options out?
I feel like I want to... For me, it's between appearance and fun fact, because I feel like there's only one way this could exist, and I feel like we're getting a plausible answer on that either way. So
I'm gonna say appearance, just for the fact that I was stuck between appearance and year and series. So I'm gonna go with appearance.
All right, you want to see his costume or hear about his costume? Unsurprisingly, Ratman is clearly a riff on a rat-themed Batman and Squirrel Girl, which I do just want to clarify means that yes, he basically looks like a weird brown Batman with a full rat tail coming out of the back of his costume. What are you guys thinking about Ratman? Everybody ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, vote. Mike says fake. Aqua says real. Friso says real. Mike, you're in first place, bud. For the first time this episode, we actually now have a full setup hint priority. Ratman is not real. Ratman is also directly based off of one of my friends who likes rats a lot. This one is based on true events. All right. Mike, let me put you up into first place here. We got Friso at 6, Aqua at 7, Mike at 8. That means, Friso, you have first hint priority on the next one, Kraven.
What?
Now, people are probably confused upon seeing this name here. So let me explain what's going on here. It'll make sense by the end. This Kraven is not the Kraven that Spider-Man has fought for decades. He's actually a clone son of Kraven, one of 87 clones that Kraven had made of himself as a way to guarantee a male heir. Because Kraven is a psycho, he trained all of these kids and then essentially had them battle royale until only one remained. That one remaining clone then killed and replaced his father, becoming the nigh identical new Kraven the Hunter, a role he has had for a while now. So, Kraven, but clone son battle royale murder Kraven. Friso, you do have hint priority.
I need to know the year and series for this.
Year and series, okay. Then Aqua, you get the second vote, actually, not a tie anymore. Do you want to confirm Friso's or set up something else? All right, confirming Friso's. This is, probably unsurprisingly, from Amazing Spider-Man in 2019. Maybe more recent than people were expecting.
No.
2019.
Oh, fuck.
Mike is not happy.
No, because, like, I'm kind of getting pre-mad at the concept of it being real, you know? Like...
in that case, let's go ahead and vote. Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Vote on Kraven. All right, Mike says real. Aqua and Friso both say fake. Mike, you're killing it.
Wow.
Mike pulls farther ahead.
Oh, don't tell me I'm right on this one. Come on.
Mike pulls fully. Now the picture, it's just Craven, and I want to make this so clear, guys. It's the same guy. It's such a weird thing that they did this because nothing has changed. It's just in 2019, the Spider-Man writers were like, yeah, we're gonna kill Craven and replace him with an identical Craven. So as of 2019 on, the Craven in the comics is a different guy. Nothing else changes though. He's just different by technicality. Otherwise, he's just, yeah. It was a weird call. It was a weird call from Marvel on New Craven. Last Son of Craven is technically his more official name. But yeah.
I don't think it was a major factor in the grand scheme of things, but I think a big part of why Spider-Verse is so big is because it's pretty fucking cathartic to see a medium love Spider-Man instead of doing these things in the. What is this? Yep. What are we doing here anymore?
Look, Mike, if you want to hear the rest of how this series went and anyone in the call, I can tell you after. I don't have time to do it now, but my God, this was one of the weirdest Spider-Man series ever. But in the interest of time, I'll skip that rant for now, and we will move on to the next character, which is Amazon. One of the easiest ways to spice up a superhero team book is to have your characters get their powers switched in some way. This has happened to the Justice League before, but it was quickly undone in most universes. Amazon is from a universe where this swap event was never fixed, and as you might be able to guess from the very stupid name, she is essentially Wonder Woman, but with the powers and skills of Green Arrow. Diana was very angry about this swap at first, seeing as Arrow's powers are quite a downgrade from hers, but she made it work, and Amazon was born. Now, the score priority order has not changed, so Friso, you do have first hint pick on Amazon.
I want to know what she looks like.
You want to know what she looks like? All right. Then it would go to Aqua.
I think I'll go with a fun fact.
Fun fact. All right. So, Mike, it does come down to you. Do you want to screw everybody over, say no hint, or do you want to pick visuals or fact?
The fact that it's an alternate Wonder Woman, I feel like I want to go with appearance, because this is a weird concept, so I want to know what they would even try to go for.
All right. Appearance it is then. I have written down here, I would describe it as like a more armored female version of Robin Hood. It is more fantasy-esque, green cloak and stuff, but like silver kind of Wonder Woman-esque armor under that.
Okay.
All right. Everybody ready? What are you thinking about Amazon? 3, 2, 1, go. Mike says fake. Friso says fake. Aqua says real. And Amazon is not real at all. Not a real character at all. So, Mike, you have secured your lead. You are still in first place. Let me boost the scores up here. This was another one that I did last minute, so I'm glad I got somebody with it.
I felt like she would be too pissed to don the green if she really didn't like.
That's what I caught on to, yeah.
A good point. A good point. All right, we now have Mike with a solid lead at 10, and then Aqua and Friso both at 7. So tie for second place. But Mike, good job. You're killing it so far. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is, there we go, found it. The next one being the Urchin. Superhumans with dead parents is like one of the most common tropes in comics in general, and the Urchin is one of the worst case scenarios of that. One day, while his family was out at sea, their boat sank, leaving his parents dead and him stranded on a deserted island. This island turned out to be home to a unique species of sea urchin, which he ate as his only food source for years. But the urchins turned out to be parasitic and mutated him, turning him into what I can only describe as a very weird, spiky man. The urchin would eventually catch a ride on a passing ship and make his way to Gotham City, where he would feed the weird urchins to orphans, trying to make an army of angry, pointy children. Now, Aqua and Friso, you two both have hint priority combined. So what are you guys thinking about Urchin?
I talk a lot, so I'm gonna let you talk for a second, and while I kind of think about this.
I think I know what a sea urchin looks like, so I can kind of picture that.
It's like a little ball with spikes.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Splatoon.
So, fun
fact or the comic in the year.
I have no idea what year. Like, it could play into any year. This is such a... In a series, I mean, maybe the series would help.
You guys get to pick.
Let's go with that then.
Which one?
Series.
Let's do year and series then.
You want to go with year and series. I did say Gotham City, and I also mentioned Orphans, so this is a Batman villain from 1996.
1996.
You guys are ready. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Aqua says fake. Mike says fake. Friso says real. Mike, my guy. Mike, we're on the same wavelength now. And Aqua, congratulations to you too. You have pulled into second place. The urchin is just my attempt at making a weird, edgy, orphan-hating Batman villain.
I feel like
pretty much as simple as
if
that.
That was a thing, I definitely would have seen it in like a Watch Mojo top 10 video or something. Like top 10 most obscure Batman characters. But I've never heard of that.
Valid.
God, that's so
valid
true.
enough.
The orphan the orphan shenanigans definitely fits the 90s, but the gimmick generally doesn't, because if 90s feels more guns and metal and trying too hard, then this guy is a literal urchin that was on the bottom of a ship.
It was the orphan killer thing, because I could see them doing, like, because just direct relation, having Batman being an orphan and having a character who specifically attacks orphans, that's what got me.
Okay. Well, we have 5 questions remaining, so Mike, if you keep your roll up, it'll be pretty easy for you to secure your lead in just a couple questions here. Can that happen now with the next character, Captain Citrus? Let's get one thing straight about Captain Citrus right from the start. His powers, way better than you would expect from the name. Once an ordinary farmer by the name of John Polk, he was walking through his orange groves one day when a mysterious object fell from space, bonding to him and giving him the ability to fire blast of solar energy. Despite not really having anything to do with fruit or citrus other than getting his powers near a bunch of oranges, he took on the name Captain Citrus and proceeded to assist the Avengers in taking out the Leader, who is a Hulk villain, if you are not familiar with the Leader. And the Leader is real, regardless. That is not part of the question. Friso, you do now have full hint priority.
I broke stuff. My lightsaber went out, so I'm grabbing another lightsaber. I'm going to go with... I need to know what he looks like. I want to know what he looks like.
I want to know what he looks like?
Literally
okay.
Same.
Okay, same. Captain Citrus has one hell of a color combination. Bright orange and bright yellow suit with like goggles and green hair. I guess to look like an orange and a lemon with like a little stem on top. He also has like a little glowing, almost arc reactor looking thing in his chest that I also think is probably supposed to resemble an orange. You guys ready to vote on Captain Citrus?
All right.
Sure.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Friso says real. Mike and Aqua both say fake. Is Mike gonna lose his streak? Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Friso, you're pulling back into second place. Well, time for second place. Captain Citrus is real. His costume is not well colored.
It just looks like the Flash.
Well, here's where things get even more funny. This is another one where I have a little bonus note on my page here. Captain Citrus was made in a Marvel partnership as the mascot for the Florida Department of Citrus, a role that he is still in. If you Google Captain Citrus, you will find info about him on the Florida Department of Citrus website. But I just found this out today. Hilariously, all direct references to Marvel have been scrubbed from the website, and his biography now says that he teamed up with a group of well-known superheroes to avenge evil, and the A in avenge is capitalized. So it's so clear that, like, we can't legally say Avengers anymore, but we really want to. So yeah, Captain Citrus, the official superhero mascot for the Florida Department of Citrus, is a real thing. Yeah, man, I've done a video on him before, and I was like, "Are people gonna remember that?" But I had to put him in.
Marvel makes some weird ass partnerships. Like, there's a wrestling promotion, a lucha promotion in Mexico, AAA, where they have, I don't know if they still have it, but they definitely had through 2019 a deal with Marvel to, on their cards, they would have like a multi-man tag match that would be guys dressed as Marvel characters, but they had like legally distinct names for some reason.
Oh, no.
Like, Thanos was a big guy in a purple mask called, I think it was Spanish for big scary purple guy or something along those lines.
I'm Googling that
Very
later.
very weird experience.
All right. Moving on from that wonderful piece of information that Mike just put in all of our brains to the next character, Bullet Man. The hero known as Bullet Man was once an ordinary chemist working for the U.S. Army before, like many chemistry-based superheroes, he discovered a compound that would give normal people superpowers. This crime cure, as he called it, destroyed all germs and toxins inside the body, which naturally, of course, gave users super strength and super intelligence for some reason. Now, if you're noting that this doesn't have anything to do with bullets yet, you're correct. The name comes in when he used his new super intelligence to create a bullet-shaped helmet that manipulated gravity, allowing him to fly. Weird branding all around, but I guess it gets the job done. Now, the hit priority has shifted a bit. Aqua and Friso, you two get first pick.
We basically just got the appearance, right?
Yeah. He had a helmet.
A
That's the only
bullet-shaped
thing I told you.
helmet.
If you want to get more, but a bullet-shaped helmet is part of the base.
I want to know a fun fact about this dude.
You want to know a fun fact? Aqua, you want to send it to Mike or confirm that?
I want to hear what Mike has to say.
This is a really weird one this is such a weird one that I kind of want to know year and series just to get a ballpark of like what this would even be going for hypothetically. But I mean, it's such a shot in the dark that like it could be anything, so it's still your priority.
All right. Aqua, you get to pick then. Do you want fun fact or year and series?
I was hoping he would just confirm. Okay.
Do you want me to step in on this one?
Sure.
I shouldn't do this, but I'll be nice because we're getting towards the end. Series is like a notable one. Whether it's notable fake or notable real, series is like not your worst pick on this. It's probably better than the other two.
Okay.
All right. Bullet Man is from a series called Nickel Comics in 1940.
What?
Nickel Comics.
Nickel Comics.
Nickel Comics from 1940.
Is this... Are we allowed to ask if this is DC or Marvel or...
I am not going to... I'll tell you after if you want to know, but I'm not going to give you the hint.
I am curious, so damn.
And in that note, I'll send it to you guys to vote. 3, 2, 1. Bullet Man. Mike says fake. Aqua and Friso both say real. Mike,
oh, God.
you're losing your lead a little bit, bud. Bullet Man is entirely real. He's got the deepest V-neck I have ever seen on a superhero costume for some godforsaken reason.
I should have got, because it is...
That's terrible.
I was gonna go for real, but what caused my crisis of faith is like Nickel Comics sounds like what you would create, what someone would create. It was like, okay, I need a fake like 1940s comic book. You could buy that for a nickel.
No, that's what they actually were. That's what they actually were. That's why it was that too. It was the first comic that was sold for a nickel. Usually they were 10 cents, and it was Nickel Comics. A fun fact: I'm gonna actually send this over weirdly to the starting soon screen. If you guys direct your attention to the left side of the screen here. Real quick. It's hard to see, but the background of the Canon Clash start screen is from an old public domain comic, that being Bullet Man. And if you see, it said there's a voice bubble where a villain is like, ah, Bullet Man, on the starting scene screen of this. So I knew I had to put him in there at some point. I'm curious if anyone in the audience would have caught that, because it was very secret. To answer Mike's question as we move on to the next one, originally, Bullet Man was from a company that I genuinely do not remember. Is now technically in the public domain, but was like kind of taken in by DC and has appeared in DC Comics since, but originally was from a third party. One of those weird old 40s characters. And speaking of weird characters, I shouldn't say that. That's literally everyone in this game. But speaking of weird multiple characters, I guess, for the next question, one of the last three, we are into the last three questions of the show, we got the Nasty Boys. Mr. Sinister is one of my favorite supervillains of all time, largely thanks to the fact that he is so over the top with just everything that he does all the time. An excellent example of his eccentric nature is the Nasty Boys, an elite strike force of very weird mutants that Mr. Sinister designed and put together purely to harass and annoy X-Factor. Most were not particularly strong, but they were in all one way or another gross or annoying, which is fitting, because they weren't necessarily formed to be effective. They were just formed by a better villain to go bug the superheroes that he didn't like. And I'm also going to go ahead and say, if you choose visuals on this, because it is a team, there is stuff. It's not like I'll run through some of the visuals of the team members. And Aqua and Friso, you have hint priority.
With a name like Nasty Boys, I'm going with fun fact.
That's valid.
Fun fact? Okay. For the fun fact, I'm simply going to list the team members of the Nasty Boys. I think that's fitting. Their names are, Slab, Ramrod, Ruckus, Gorgeous George, and Hairbag from earlier in the show.
Oh, no.
So you think I did a fake out with the old question, or is that a little, did I connect the two? Because that made sense.
Wait.
I'll read through those again if you're curious. Slab, Ramrod, Ruckus, Gorgeous George, and Hairbag again. Everyone looks confused, and I'm not going to give you time to wait. It's time to vote on the Nasty Boys. 3, 2, 1, go! Everybody says real on the Nasty Boys, so the score total, well, the total will change, but the positioning is not going to change either way. But hey, you guys all get to feel good about yourself because the Nasty Boys are entirely real. Here they are. This is hard to parse because it's the whole group at once, but I do want to point out that Gorgeous George is the weird purple mass on the right side. He's a gross, like, blobby, shape-shifting guy.
I honestly only said yes because the name Gorgeous George sounded cool.
That Gorgeous George caused a crisis. Again, it's a very specific, my very specific hyper interest kind of almost screwed me over because there is coincidentally a wrestling tag team called the Nasty Boys and a famous old wrestler named Gorgeous George. But I don't think you would like go to that for name like inspiration.
I did not.
So that is just a coincidence. So
purely a coincidence, yeah. I try to not double up on names with things if possible, but like if it's something like wrestling, like I can't search the entire internet for these. I can't.
No, it is purely coincidence. It just like screwed with me for a second.
All right, final two. Now, funny enough, we had a 3-way tie last episode, and despite everybody kind of like not always syncing up, that is within the realm of possibility. Mike, if you miss both these, and if Aqua and Friso both get them right, we could tie. But hey, congratulations, Mike. You're at least going to tie for first. Worst case scenario, you had enough of a lead for that. So let's go on to the second to last character in this episode, Highlight. Gotham City is home to a lot of vigilantes, some better than others, and Highlight was definitely not one of those better ones. She possessed the ability to make things glow, not blindingly bright or anything, just a nice, visible glow. This power proved useful for chasing down criminals at night, but not really much beyond that. However, the originally joke character took a tragic turn when it was revealed that her powers made things glow by irradiating them, and most criminals she used her powers on later ended up dying because of it. There's a bit of a plot twist in that description, so how are we feeling about Highlight?
Whoever made this character kind of messed up, so I'm just gonna say that from the beginning.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything in response to that one.
I mean, I feel like we got all the like, what other interesting facts can we get out of this character? It's the only thing I'm trying to think of. I personally want to know what she looks like.
All right. Aqua, you get to decide next.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know what comic it's from. And yeah, you did kind of give us an interesting fact already, so I think that's valid.
All right, costume it is. I just have written egregiously bright highlighter yellow spandex suit with like silver armor on top. Could it on black for color contrast? Didn't. It's just very hard to look at. And once again, since we're getting close to the end here, I'm not going to give you too much time to debate. 3, 2, 1, vote! Okay. All right. So there's some difference here. So the score, Mike, you're still in the running here. Aqua says real. Mike and Friso both say fake. And Highlight is not real. Highlight is fake. And as someone in the chat pointed out, yes, based on the Cancer Ray bit from the Harley Quinn animated show.
Oh, that's nice. The fact that she was bright in a Batman comic also was like, you don't really get too much brightness.
You don't really get too much brightness. So, that means, I think, that with 13, Mike, you have secured your first place.
Hooray.
But we'll still move on to the next one, of course, the last one, because the totals could still change up. So we'll go right into it. With the weirdest character on the list, the hardest to explain. I was going to preface that one right now before we go on. Sorry, I'm scrolling up to it in my my note stock here. There we go. The final character, the Quiz. The Quiz has one of the strongest power sets ever seen in comics, really, at least at the start of a fight, until it eventually becomes largely useless. See, the Quiz begins each fight with every superpower conceivable, but only keeps those powers until her opponent thinks of them. Once a superpower has entered her opponent's mind, she loses that ability entirely. So normal powers, like super strength, people think about those when fighting superheroes or villains. So she doesn't have super strength anymore. Basically, the longer a fight goes on, people think of more powers that she might have, and then she doesn't have those powers anymore, so her powers get more weird and obscure and just nonsense the longer a fight goes on. What are you thinking hint-wise? Aqua gets first priority for this. For the Quiz.
I don't think her appearance really matters. Is it cool if I hear what everyone else has to say, though?
I'm not gonna stop you.
Okay, I'd like to hear what you guys think.
I agree that appearance wouldn't really help here. I feel like series and year might help because it sounds like a weirdly competent gag idea, right? Because it's pretty creative. You could get a lot of powers in there. We could get a sense for like what powers she would be drawing from, whether she's Marvel or DC, and like depending on the year you could get a vibe for whether it's cheesy. Although I guess the fact that the tone isn't set in stone would make the year not that helpful. Either way, I'd say year or fun fact, appearance leaning more toward year. What do you think, Friso?
I feel like there's just so much we don't know about this character that fun fact would help out, because if we did series and year, I feel like it wouldn't be helpful with a character like this, because it could be just I honestly can't think of a year that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It'd probably be something newer-ish. Like, I mean, 90s and up. But
This is the last question, so you guys figure out what you're...
you know more about the character
Any
itself.
of them are... I'll go and tell you. Any of them are, like, decently helpful on this.
I think we need to know more about the character to make a final decision.
Okay.
Fun fact.
All right. Fun fact it is. I saw nods, so interrupt me if someone wants to say something different. But this is a very different fun fact than the rest of the list, admittedly, which might help or might confuse you more. But here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you the details or the capacity. The quiz has been in live action. There is a live action version of the quiz out there. That does exist. At least it exists in the context of this question.
God.
If that it was for wanting more information and picking the fun facts, probably not an incredibly helpful fun fact, but it's information nonetheless.
This is very on-brand cryptic for you, but not in a way that would lean my answer one way or the other. God damn it.
Well, let's see what you're going to answer then. I'll just push you right to voting. 3, 2, 1, go. Everybody says fake. And the quiz is real.
Really?
The quiz is real. The quiz was featured in a very brief, like, one episode of season 3 of Doom Patrol.
Oh,
this is a
that
Doom
would have
Patrol
helped
character.
immensely. Damn.
Yeah, which probably is like, yeah, this is very Doom Patrol, like, what the fuck vibes. Yeah, I love the Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol was like the first things I pulled for the DC characters.
Don't tell me it's in the news show, because I love the news show. Did I forget that?
No, I don't think she's ever actually named, but she's in the Sisterhood of Dada. Remember the woman in the box?
Oh, okay.
The woman in the box is the quiz. Yeah. And they change her powers a little bit, but it is her. It is her. And also she looks super weird. The reason she's in the box is she's a germaphobe, which is why she also has the weird suit. But yeah, there is a live action appearance of this absolutely wild character. So the scores are not going to change. That means we have Aqua in third place with 10, Friso in second place with 11, and Mike in first place with 13 points. Very tight scores. You all did very well, and I'm very proud of you. I'm curious, out of all of them, real or fake, who is your favorite of these questions?
Ooh.
Just in any order.
Neil, or Niall.
Niels
the cat? Yeah, understandable.
Neil the cat.
Niels the cat.
Because I wanted him to be real so much, and it just
is.
Question.
And that, I also just want to remind everybody, by extension, does mean that the pet Avengers are real. There is a whole team of this that you can look up on your own time. I do believe that Throg, the Thor frog, is also on this team, and a couple other characters.
I like Niels. I really wish Interlocked was real. That sounds really cool to me. Like, it would have, like, a construct body, and the rings would be in the middle. I think it would be really cool.
I'm glad you like my... Hey, if anyone from DC is in the chat, hit me up. I'll ignore my background. I'll write for you. Don't look at any of this. But, all right. Oh, were you going to say something?
It was brave to straight up do a Scooby-Doo plot in there. Contingency that none of us are, like, Scooby-Doo experts. A fair guess, but not guaranteed.
Hey, I gotta get my fakes from somewhere, and I was drawing a blank with a lot of these DC ones. This is the first episode we've done DC, and so I was like, God, I hope some of these fakes are convincing.
I feel like Highlighter. Highlighter was pretty, morbidly funny.
I do have to thank Amy, one of my chief mod and everything, for that. Amy and I Amy gave me like a nice wholesome vigilante. I was like, I need to do something. I added the fucked up part. That was me. Amy didn't put in the radiation part. That was me later. So Amy, you didn't know I was doing that. I'm sorry I corrupted your idea a little bit. And on that lovely note, that is going to be the end of this episode. I've got a couple quick announcements, and then I will throw to the guests if they want to plug their stuff again. Really, the main announcement that I have is the YouTube for this is up. So the first episode that we did a couple weeks ago is up on the YouTube. A link will go in there in the chat. Now, notably, only the first episode is up so far. I was going to upload the second one today as well, but there was an audio editing issue with the first one that took some time and delayed things. I will upload the second episode tomorrow. And then this episode and future episodes are going to go up on the Monday after on that YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the first two, check those out on the YouTube channel, and then that is where they're going to be going forward. If you're new to the Twitch channel, I do other things on here. I play a lot of video games. I talk about lore like I do on TikTok, but in longer form. And on Fridays, I have a D&D show that Mike is on. I'm sure a lot of people in the audience already watched that show because it probably came from Mike. But that show is ongoing. We're going to have a new episode this upcoming Friday. We also have a YouTube and podcasting platform for that if you want to catch up on previous episodes, because it's a long show. We're on season 3. It's been going for over a year at this point. So check all that stuff out. I hope you enjoy it. And then thank you very much for our guests. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you all for coming on. I'll go top down again if you want to plug your socials one more time. So Aqua.
Yes, you can find me on TikTok at NotAquasArt. Thank you for having me on the show. Very fun. And I'm surprised at how good of a score I got.
Hey, look, everybody did really well. Like I try to go for that 50%. Like that's my goal. That's my goal when I'm writing these questions. So I'm glad that we're hitting there. All right, next up then, Mike, this episode's winner.
Yes, you can find me on TikTok at MikeFunnyBoy. Or you can see me on here on Fridays. If you're not already doing that, I personally think you're weird. Get on board. It's a really fun D&D campaign. So please, check me out on TikTok and check us out over here.
All right, and finally, Friso.
Thank you for having me on the show. Everybody, you can find me at Friso Cosplay. For those Texans, it's not Frisco Cosplay, it's Friso Cosplay. Happens a lot. But yes, thank you so much. Let me know if you have any other shows I can hop on.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, thank you so much to everyone who watched. I do hope you enjoyed. I did the announcement about the YouTube, so if you haven't seen the first two, you can go and check those out. We will have a new episode of Canon Clash next Saturday, so I hope to see you all there. One more time, thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your week.